The title of this video is How to Process Emotion. But really what the video is about is a personal story I want to share with you guys about dropping in to vulnerability, about allowing your scary big emotions to work for you and transform areas of your life that you don't even know you have the keys to. Watch this video. What people need to understand is I spend the majority of my life going deep into the emotions that we have that are super misunderstood. I believe that all healing comes from understanding our emotions, managing them, and transforming them. Emotions, when they're not taken care of, when they're not healed, become things in our body, become patterns in our life, become destruction in our relationships. One of those biggest emotions that we have issues with is anger. Anger, which most people don't understand, is a complete cover emotion. Anger isn't really what we think it is. It's a cover for a lot of pain, a lot of sadness, and a lot of fear. Children who are really angry are feeling really powerless. Powerless to their emotions, powerless to being heard, powerless to being seen, powerless to being understood. When this powerlessness emerges, it's anger. Anger and rage, actually, if you can look at a child doing this, are a call for power, are a way to control through fear, which is what we feel when we're having anger, fear. A way to control by not showing your vulnerability, not showing your sadness, not showing the thing that you didn't get validated, but showing the flip side. So almost scaring someone or controlling someone into seeing us and feeling us and understanding us. But what happens when we get older is anger starts destroying us. As also a certified health coach and spiritual coach, I see the connection between emotion and physical illness and physical ailments and physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, relationship symptoms. It all goes together for me. And I've seen from my own life. And what I know for certain is we are not dealing with anger in a way that works for anyone. We don't feel better. What it does is it triggers even more powerlessness, even more rage, even more destruction. And so if my life were to be my teaching, I want to share a personal story with you. Recently, I was faced with something that I didn't expect. My life looked perfect. My life felt great. There was something missing. There was something going on. I didn't really know what it was, but everything was fine. And then all of a sudden one day, I was hit with a reality that I would have never expected in a million years. And maybe a few years ago, I would have met it with extreme anger, rage, fight or flight. I used to like to leave. I used to just run away. But this time, I sat in it. I sat in the vulnerability that popped up underneath the anger. I sat in the sadness. I sat in the disappointment. I sat in the fear. I sat inside my heart. I sat inside the emotion that was underneath the anger. And the reason I was able to do that is because I have courage, and I realized that this anger, this desire, sorry, my lighting is still weird, this desire to leave, to flee this issue that came forward, to want it to not be so, was so silly. Why would I leave it when my presence is my power? Tell yourself that. My presence is my power. Why would I walk away from something that causes me pain? If my presence is my power, I will sit in my pain. And thank God I've been doing this for a really long time. But I had to really put myself to the test and my work to the test. And so, how do we process anger? We sit within the anger. We do not allow it to show us a reaction. We do not allow it to fight or flight, but we sit in it. And when we sit in it long enough, it will show us the deep pain. the pain that we've been hiding from, the pain that we haven't been looking at, the pain and fear that once faced with it, we realize there's really nothing to fear. But if we don't face it and we run because of our anger, we will never face that, which means we will never be able to sit in that beautiful vulnerability that's behind that fear, our beautiful heart that has all the answers. And so what I did is I watched the anger arise. I watched the fear. I watched my desire to flee. I actually booked a flight out of town because I didn't want to face this one. And then I canceled the flight on the way to the airport and I said, fuck no, this is on. This is on and I can do this. And I sat in what was behind that desire to fear by stopping the action of leaving, by stopping the action of fleeing the situation I was facing. And I sat in it and I said, what would happen if I just sat here and allowed myself to see all the things I'm afraid of? Allow myself to see that this potential situation is the thing I've been running from all along. And so I did that. And I sat in it and I said, I am willing to see nothing but truth. Nothing but truth. I want the truth. I can handle the truth. I can't handle the truth if I'm in my fear because I'm running from truth. But I can handle the truth if I'm in my heart and I'm sitting still with grace. And so I did that. And I allowed all the things, all the truths to flow forward. And I allowed myself to sit and hear everything that I was hearing and sit and feel everything that I was feeling. And what started happening was an extremely large flow of tears, an entire box and a half of Kleenex, crying, weeping, moaning, probably not cute. And I let it all out and I felt so powerful. I felt like I don't have anger. I felt like I never really did. All I had was fear and pain. Fear and pain. And as I allowed one of my biggest fears to face me, I realized I was free to be in my heart fully now. It was the biggest gift I gave myself by sitting in that fear and that sadness that we cover with anger and to watch the truth emerge. The truth is that
I couldn't find sitting in that fear and that
Siri allowing that fear and that sadness to be what it was and realize that I could survive it. It wasn't really scary at all. It wasn't really powerless at all. All it needed was for me to give it my full attention, for me to validate it fully, and for me to allow it to flow. After that day, and a few days after that, it wasn't easy. It's hard to face your vulnerability. It's hard to realize that you can get hurt, but it's amazing to know that you will survive. And it's amazing to know that now you have your biggest asset that you've probably been searching for your whole life, and that's your big ass heart. And if you can sit in your pain and say, I'm hurting, this sucks, I don't want this, but this is what it is, what happens is your truth emerges. So, if you're dealing with how to process your anger, my biggest piece of advice, as my life has shown, is to sit in it. Sit in your anger and do not act on it. Sit in your anger and watch what comes up from underneath it. Watch the fear, watch the sadness, allow it to have an emotion, allow it to flow out of you, and more than that, allow others to see it. You guys, I just want to let you know Truth Room Tribe is launching in a week, my monthly membership program. I'm so excited to share my exclusive podcast that I will be doing only in Truth Room Tribe, my monthly meditations, my live Q&As, my recipes for complete soul healing and emotional enlightenment and empowerment. I hope you'll join. Please get on my list below, my mailing list, to hear all the details. Please subscribe and share if you haven't already. And I'm sending you a whole bunch of love. Namaste.